Hello parents, welcome to our first virtual workshop, and today we're going to be talking about early language and how you can support your children with speaking at home. First of all, I want to talk to you about what we expect children to be able to do when they start in early years at school. So this will be at 3 years old when they start nursery, and typically the National Literacy Trust tells us that children should be using up to 300 words and be able to speak in sentences using 4 to 5 words. They should be able to hold a conversation and talk about the world around them. They should be able to listen to a whole story and remember simple stories or their favourite parts. They should be able to talk about things that have happened in their past, in their own experience, and they should be able to understand simple instructions such as putting on your coat. Now, we find a lot of our children are coming in and they don't quite have this set of skills. So what we would like to do is give you, as parents, some tools to support your children at home, simple activities, practicing speaking, having conversations and building up your child's knowledge of words, and this will help them in their learning as they go from nursery to reception and through the school. We are so fortunate in Barking and Dagenham to live in a diverse community where we have children speaking languages from all over the world. Multilingual families who are speaking English and other languages, please keep speaking your home language to your children. It's really important for their development that you're speaking in your home language as well as English. Children who speak well in their home language are really likely to develop a good understanding of English. Even if when they start nursery they don't speak much English at all, if they can speak well in your home language, they will be able to learn English faster, and those skills will transfer across. If you're using your home language, you could sing, you can read stories, you can talk about their day. If your child isn't confident in speaking your home language, that's absolutely fine as well. They could answer you in English, but it's really important, especially the younger they are, to keep exposing them to both languages, so to English and to your home languages. All of the activities that we provide, they're good to do in any language. So please don't feel like you have to speak in English if you're not confident. Speaking in your first language or your home language is absolutely fine. One of the ways that we help your children develop their early language in school is by using ECAT, Every Child a Talker. You may have seen these posters up in the nursery and reception classrooms. And I'm going to explain to you a little bit about the strategies we use in school to help your children become confident talkers. These are all skills that you can practice at home and will really help your children's speaking development. So first of all, looking at your child and getting down to their level shows them that you're listening, shows them that what they're about to say is important to you. So look at your children in the eye and get down to their level so that they can see you and see your face clearly while you're talking. Try and remove distractions. You can turn off your TV, put your mobile phones away, put the tablets away. We live in a world now where technology is so important and it's a big part of our everyday life. But to help your children with their speech and language development, it's really important that we have times of day where we don't have those distractions of phones and TVs and tablets, and just focus on having a conversation. You may notice that when you're talking to your child or asking them questions, they might not be interested in talking about what you want to talk about. It's really important to let your child lead their play and their conversations with you. Talk about what they're interested in. If your child's playing with cars, talk about his or her cars. If they're imagining that they're a princess or a superhero, talk about superheroes and princesses. Find out what your children enjoy and let them lead the conversations. Then they'll feel more comfortable to express themselves using fuller sentences and more words that are familiar to them. Young children find it very hard to concentrate on more than one thing at a time, so it's really important to get your child's attention before you start talking to them, and you can do this by saying your child's name first. Lucy, you listened so carefully today. Lucy, please can you get your coat? Lucy, what would you like for dinner? If you use the child's name first, they hear their name and they'll turn to you and listen. If you're saying, what do you want for your dinner, Lucy? Your child probably has only heard their name and hasn't realised that you're talking to them. So try and use their name first. And when your child does listen, praise them and tell them that you're really proud of them and thank them for doing that good listening. It's a really difficult skill for children to switch between what they're doing and listening to other people. And it's really, really important that you praise them and tell them that you're proud of them for listening. I've already spoken to you about how many words your children are expected to know by the time they're 3, around about 300 words that they're using confidently. And one way that you can introduce more words to your children and develop their language is by adapting your level of language when you talk to them. So for example, in front of me I have an apple, and if your child can't say any words yet, you would just say apple, just one word. If your child can point and say apple, how can we move them on? We can add another word. So you might say, yes, red apple. If your child is already using 2 words and they could say red apple, you could add another word. So you would reply with 3 words. Juicy red apple. And you can keep building up your sentences like this. If your child is only saying 1 word, reply with 2. If your child is saying 2 words, reply with 3. If your child is saying 3 words, reply with 4. You can make your sentence just 1 word longer than what your child is already saying, and that will introduce so many new words to their vocabulary, and they will start to use those words as they get familiar with them. Now I'm going to talk to you about comments and questions. As adults, we naturally ask a lot of questions. And when you see your child after school, you probably ask them a lot of questions, and they might not always answer you. Or they might answer you with just yes or no or I don't know. One way we can help our children to develop their language and be able to answer questions is by commenting on what they're doing, watching them while they play or playing with them and talking about what they're doing. So if your child is playing with some bricks, instead of asking, what are you building? Is that a tower? How many bricks have you used? You can comment on their play instead by saying, oh, you're building. It's getting taller. You're using a red brick. It's nearly as big as me. Oh dear, it's fallen down. If you offer them lots of comments, then they'll be listening to that language and they'll be able to use those words next time. And then you can follow up with a simple open question. I want to talk to you about open questions. So sometimes we ask questions to children that only have 1 right answer. What colour is this? How many are there? And that's fine. There's a time and a place for closed questions. But actually, for our children who are exploring early language, we want them to be able to feel comfortable in answering a question that maybe doesn't have any right or wrong answer. So, can you describe that flower? What do you need to build your tower? I wonder where that bee's going. This will open up your child's imagination. There's no right or wrong answer. They're free to explore and tell you what they're thinking and their own ideas. And you modelling all of those comments during their play will help them to find those answers. When you're asking a question, did you know that you should allow your child 10 seconds to think before expecting an answer? Now 10 seconds doesn't sound like long, but when you're waiting for a child to answer you, actually it feels like a very long time. But your child needs to process the words that you're saying to them, try and figure out how to answer, and then be able to answer you. And sometimes we can all be a little bit impatient with young children and expect an answer after 2 seconds. Next time you ask your child a question, just count to 10 in your head and think how long that is before you should expect an answer. Last year, Henry Green started working with the National Literacy Trust to help develop our children's early speaking. And one way that we are doing this is by promoting these websites that the National Literacy Trust have made for families. Now these are free, there's lots of activities on there that are really simple to do, all focused around speaking and conversations, and they really help your child to develop confidence in their early language abilities. So we've got Small Talk, which is for children aged 0 to 5. It's broken down into different age groups. So you'd in nursery be looking at 3 to 4, and in reception looking at 4 to 5. And you can go onto that website and find some really lovely simple activities to help develop your child's language at home. And then there's also Words for Life, which is new this year, and that goes from 0 all the way up to 12-year-olds, and there's a lot of further activities on there that you can look at as well. So if you're stuck for something to do, if it's a rainy day, have a look on there, and you'll really find some fantastic activities, and there's lots of support for parents as well at the National Literacy Trust. Another way that the Literacy Trust has been supporting Henry Green is they've provided us with this booklet called Time Together, which is something for parents. We're not using it in school, but it's something for parents. It's ways that you can develop your child's early language at home. It's got lots of simple, fun activities to develop communication, to build good routines, to keep your children healthy. It's very clear, it's very simple, and it's really effective. So I think it's a really important thing that we share with you, because not everyone can see this. This is only for schools that are taking part in the Early Words Together programme. So Time Together, it's actually all on the Henry Green website under the Early Years page. So if you go to Pupils, then EYFS, and then Home Learning Tasks, you'll see the Early Language Skills section, and Time Together is on there, and it's actually in 13 different languages. So if your English is not fantastic, or if you're more comfortable in reading through in your home language, you can have a look, and hopefully most of the languages that we use at Henry Green are covered in those 13 that we have uploaded. As I said earlier, if you're a multilingual family, it's absolutely fine to do these activities in your home language. It doesn't have to be in English, but it's really worth having a look at for our nursery and reception pupils. And if you've got younger children as well who are not yet in nursery, there's lots of things in there that you can use with those children as well. So please have a go on our website and have a look. And if you do any of the activities, you'll be able to share them with us as well. Thank you so much for taking part in our first virtual workshop. Normally we would have you all into school, we'd have tea and coffee and we'd sit and have a chat together, but obviously this year we're not able to do that. So I hope this has given you all of the information that you would have been able to have if you'd have come in to an actual workshop with me. Please remember that you can send comments, questions, photographs of your child doing any of the activities from Time Together using Evidence Me. If you do have a question or something, you can send it through as an observation, and then I can do a reply to it on there. And hopefully you'll find Time Together really useful over half term. And I'm looking forward to seeing videos and pictures and having some comments of how those activities went. So thank you very much, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!